This segment of DelmarvaLife is brought to you by the YMCA of the Chesapeake.
Just thinking about it could stress you out. It does for me. Picture this, yoga on a stand-up paddleboard.
Yeah, the ancient practice is supposed to clear your mind, but is it really as tough as it sounds? Well, today we show you.
An exercise in breathtaking.
It really does change you.
This group is learning how to do stand-up paddleboard yoga or sup yoga. This is a first for Britt and Julian.
I like to saying yes to a lot of adventures that I normally wouldn't say yes to.
Instructor Tessa Blosser says as long as the water is calm, it can be smooth sailing.
We're all anchored out, and so we're not floating away from each other or anything like that, you know, being like, hey, come back over here in the middle of your yoga class.
But Blosser says sup yoga can be a lot harder than yoga on land.
Being on a paddleboard brings the instability into your yoga practice, and so you really have to focus on that while doing the yoga on the paddleboard.
The easiest poses on land, like modern warrior, where you lunge forward, down dog, where you curl your toes, lift your hips and push back with shoulders, and dog split, which is a leg lift, can be more challenging on the paddleboard.
If you want to really push yourself to get a certain move or a certain pose, then you have a chance of falling in.
During a normal yoga practice, you're focusing and you're stable on the ground. Here, the water's definitely going to put in another variable.
Blosser says sup yoga isn't a stretch.
It is more of a newer thing that people are really jumping on board.
But staying on the board can be a balancing act.
And sup yoga can be done in any kind of water, but keep in mind the more waves, the tougher it can be. So what do you think, Jimmy?
I think I'm going to leave it to the pros on the paddleboard for these things.
That might be a good idea, but you're not getting out of it that easy. Today we're getting a yoga lesson of our own. No, we're not going to have to get on paddleboards, thank goodness, but it'll still be just as fun. You ready?
Would it matter?
Not really. Joining us today to show us a few moves is Chris Egan, group exercise instructor at the Richard A. Henson Family YMCA in Salisbury. Thanks for joining us this
thanks for being good sports.
Before we get into the moves, let's talk about the benefits of yoga. There's so many of them.
Absolutely. Like you said, yoga is an ancient practice. It's over 6,000 years old, practiced now all over the world, and it has many benefits. I'm going to just touch on 4. So we think about yoga as working on our flexibility, which it absolutely does.
Yeah.
So we lengthen and warm the muscles. It keeps us from those everyday injuries and those sports injuries that we sometimes get. We also use yoga for strength, which people don't think about, but we'll demonstrate today. So we hold ourselves in poses that require a lot of core strength and limb strength as well.
Okay.
Yoga focuses on postures. So yoga, as Sanskrit, talks about asanas, which are postures. So we very much think about the spine and where the body is in its position. And then lastly, it's about balance. So the poses we saw in that segment, they're steady on their lower part of the body, they're lifted in their upper bodies, so even a pose that doesn't seem like a balance pose really has a balance.
Okay.
But we'll actually do a standing balance to try that.
So poses, postures.
Yes.
What's the first one we're going to learn?
We are going to do a standing posture that's very common called tree pose.
Tree pose.
So we're going to stand like a one-legged tree. Best if you take your shoes
ditch
off.
the boots?
I already
Yes.
took mine
Then
off.
ditch the boots.
Wow.
The boots are out.
So you know it's a already fun exercise. Whoa.
Come back here, Jimmy. We're going to work on your balance.
Yeah, we're working on the balance. This is a good thing.
If you get
So
to
what
do
do
it
we-
barefoot, you're off to a good start. So we're going to stand in either leg, your choice. So we're going to come nice and strong, strengthen one of the legs. And then we're going to pick up the other leg, turn the knee out to the side, and we're going to start to slide the instep of that foot up the standing leg. So it could be just an inch off. It doesn't matter which leg.
Can I lean on Lisa?
If you want to cheat and knock her over, yeah.
I can do that.
So
Don't give him that
you
option.
could be an inch up. You could try placing your foot really high up.
Okay.
And so one of the
Really?
tricks is see if you can focus your eyes on a spot.
I was focused on Lisa. I wasn't trying to.
Okay.
And then we're going to add arms to help our balance,
Oh, yeah.
because that will help. And then eyes still.
All right. Our next one is the plank.
We're going to do the plank, so we're going
Okay.
to come down on the floor.
All right.
And what's fun about these poses is you can make them more challenging if you want to by adding different options, right? So you're like, that was too easy,
That's what I
right?
mean.
We'll do some more.
Let's challenge a little more.
So for plank, we're going to come like a military push-up.
Okay.
So we're down on our hands,
Okay.
and then we're going to bring our legs behind us, right? Like drop and give me 20.
Right.
And And we're gonna hold this pose. So we're pressing back with the heels and we're pressing into the arms. And so one variation is just to hold the plank as long as you can.
Okay.
Another variation like they did on the paddleboard, they lifted one leg.
Oh.
So you can just barely pick one foot up
Hey,
behind you.
Lisa,
Absolutely.
You are doing great.
Jimmy, get
Look
to work.
at this. Oh,
And you can try it to the
Do you
side.
even have room?
our producer just got in my ear and said something I can't repeat.
Oh no! You can also do side planks, so you can change it up. So again, it requires a lot of core strength and
on, Jimmy.
balance.
I just did. Oh, the camera wasn't on me. They missed it.
Okay. Now, this isn't challenging enough. Obviously,
No,
Jimmy says it's not
no,
challenging
he's
enough
bored,
for him. So
yeah.
let's find something that can really challenge Jimmy.
So we're going to do a sun salute, which is one of the
salute.
most famous sequences. So
Okay.
it's a series of poses. A type of yoga is called vinyasa, where you do lots of poses together. You just keep flowing one into the other.
Okay.
So we're going to give ourselves a little space behind us.
All right.
We'll come to the front. So we're going to stand up and we're going to arch into a little back bend.
A little back bend.
We're going to reach back up and then we're going to dive into a forward fold, like you're touching your toes.
Okay.
We're going to keep our hands here.
Okay.
And we're going to take one leg behind. So now we're in a lunge.
Ooh.
We're going to go back into that plank that we just did. So we see if we can add that other foot back behind us.
What are you looking at me for?
I wanted to know what that ripping noise was.
Oh no!
I know, I'm just kidding.
And then we're going to come down on our legs and up in a back bend.
Oh, that feels good,
Yeah.
actually.
Who's going to pick me up?
That's the core strengthening part
That's
of it,
right, right. Your core is going to pick you up. We're going to curl our toes behind us and we're going to lift our hips up to the sky in the down dog, which should feel pretty good too. So that's a big
Yeah.
stretch. We're going to take one leg back between the hands. We're going to stay low, bring the other foot. We're back in a fold. And we finish up, lifting up.
Jimmy, come back. Oh, he's wobbling over.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm good. That was very refreshing.
Chris, thank you so much.
Yes,
that
thank you.
felt great. I can't speak for Jimmy, but
Oh, I feel wonderful.
You can tell he's resting.
Yes.
It was restorative yoga.
Yes.
Yeah.
My whole psyche here is just working overtime.
and if you'd like to learn more about yoga from the YMCA of the Chesapeake, go to DelmarvaLife.com and click on the show tab.